Have you ever watched two people playing a game of catch? It's a pretty simple game. One player throws a ball and the other tries to catch it. You may recall that when your code contains an error, it stops running. Well, in JavaScript, there are some built-in statements to help your code continue to run even if an error occurs. They also use keywords like throw and catch. However, they try to catch the error instead of the ball. In this video, you will learn about the statements throw, try, and catch, and how they can be used to work with errors in JavaScript and prevent your code from stopping. This process is more commonly known as error handling. First, let's explore the try-catch statement that uses the keywords try and catch. If a piece of code throws an error, it can get wrapped inside a try block. Then you can catch the error with the catch block and use it to do something. For example, output the error message to the console. Another keyword that you need to be aware of is the throw keyword. Using the throw keyword, you can force an error to be thrown from the try block to the catch block. It's important to remember that you can use the throw keyword outside the try block, but it will not be possible to catch it. The catch block accepts something called an error, which is an object. This is the actual error that is thrown from the try block. While you can name it anything you like, it's best to keep it short and meaningful. In this case, I named it ERR. Let me demonstrate how this works further with some code examples. Let's define a block of code to be tested for errors using the try-catch statement. Okay, so I have Visual Studio Code open and a JavaScript file with some sample code. If I was to run this code now, it would return an error and stop working. This is because the first line uses a console log to output a plus b, but these variables are not declared anywhere. The second line has a console log to output the string "this line is never reached," and this statement looks to be error-free. When I click the Run button, a reference error is output telling me that A is not defined. The JavaScript engine then stops immediately and does not process the second line. It's not only JavaScript that throws errors in our programs. You can actually throw them on purpose. This is done by typing the keyword throw followed by the keyword new and then a specific errors constructor. In this case, I use the reference error constructor with a pair of parentheses at the end. When I run the code this time, I get a reference error output again. So, how can we prevent errors from stopping our programs? This is where the try-catch syntax makes itself useful. Let's go to a separate file with code that shows how that works. But first, let's break down the structure of the code. The try block starts with the try keyword, and inside of curly braces, you place the code that you think will throw an error. Next is the catch block, which catches the error that the try block produces. It begins with the catch keyword, and in parentheses, you have a built-in error object that you can name whatever you like. But here I've used ERR. Inside the curly braces, you place the code you would like to execute. In this example, the try block contains the same console log statement as before to output A plus B. The catch block contains console logs to output two strings. There was an error, and the error was saved in the error log. Finally, after the catch block, another console log outputs the string "my program does not stop." The benefit of using try-catch is that even if JavaScript throws an error while going through our code, it will not stop program execution. To demonstrate that, let's run our code example. Notice again, a reference error is output stating that A is not defined, and then the two strings from our catch block. It's important to understand here that the error is output because I logged it to the console. The string's output after the error message, proving our program continued running. Finally, let me switch tabs to another file and demonstrate how JavaScript responds when I manually throw an error. In this example, the try block contains the throw statement to throw a new reference error. In the catch block, there are two console logs. The first one outputs the error object, and the second outputs the string, "There was a reference error." Outside the try-catch blocks, the program ends with a console log to output the string, "My program does not stop." When I run this code, notice that the reference error is output. This is the error that was thrown in the try block and then output using the error object in the catch block. Once again, this is just the error being output. The code has not stopped running, and I can confirm this as the final console log message is output to the console. In this video, you've learned how to work with errors in JavaScript. You learned how you can use try and catch blocks and the throw keyword to deal with them. The next time you see a game of catch, think about how you can use a similar mechanism to help catch errors in your code.